Welcome back. I'm Lay, and this is my personal finance journey of nurturing net worth. You can download this budget tracker linked in the description below and start joining me on your path to freedom. I'm going to be showing how to personalize this tracker. So, this budget tracker is the minimalist budget tracker and network calculator from Etsy. So, I'll put the link in the description, and it is from the beloved digital DIY shop. And so we're going to start for July, and I'm just going to edit this so that you can see how that can be done. So I'm going to start on the bill payment tracker. For this spreadsheet, the first tab is the instructions, and the second tab is the monthly budget, as well as the net worth tracker. And on the bottom here, you have your financial health ratios, which are just different metrics for financial health. And then on the third tab is the payment tracker. So what I will do here on the bill payment tracker, I'm going to update what you have here is just like example data. So I'm going to replace that with my actual data. So for the paycheck dates, instead of having to write paid once they are paid, I prefer a checkbox. And I don't believe Excel has the option to do a checkbox, so you'd only be able to do this in Google Sheets. So that's how I like that. And then next, I will update these header with my actual pay dates. Okay, so this is how this would look. So for each month column on row 2, I've looked at my payroll dates, and for each month, I'll put each paycheck date that I'll receive. So for July, I get paid on the 3rd, the 17th, and the 31st. Next, I'll enter all of my bills and savings account transfers that I do, and then the due dates of those bills and the amounts. Okay, so for July, then I, in column A, am putting the due dates of all of these bills and their amounts in column C. So, for example, for something like savings transfers, I don't have a due date for that. You can leave that blank, or you can put the date that you make the transfer on. And for my flood insurance and my car insurance that I don't pay monthly, for the flood insurance I pay annually. What I did instead is adjusted the equations here. So you can see here in column D, there is a multiplication of C and column D. So column D equals column C times 12. Column D is just like an estimate annual amount of what you pay on this expense. So since I pay my flood insurance annually, I just removed the equation, entered the full amount, and then in column C, I put the equation there. So if I pay this amount a year, then the monthly amount, if you wanted to like save up to a certain amount of money each month to that amount, then that would be equals this amount in column D divided by 12. And you can do the same for the car insurance. So that's about it. And then I put the bank account in which I pay out of for each expense. So for column F, what I'll do here is looking at the pay dates. In column F, I'll place which check I'm paying what bill with. So for these ones here, I'll use my paycheck on the 3rd, for example. And for mortgage and water, I'll use that paycheck on the 17th. The flood insurance, I'm going to pay with, I'm going to keep that 31st paycheck to pay the flood insurance. That just kind of helps you with cash flow management. So another thing is that you can just add notes, extra notes if you need to. For phone and internet, I get a reimbursement. So I'll just put a reminder here to submit my reimbursement. For tithe, for here, it'll be each paycheck. Since there's only one checkbox here, it's not like 3 different checkboxes. So maybe like completed on the 3rd, completed on the 17th, completed on the 31st, and then you would check the box. So you can put notes here as well and just kind of personalize it to how you need it to work for you. So on the monthly dashboard, for me, I would put primary salary here. Have a nickname for a property that you have rental income from. You can put that here. Cash flow. So I'm going to put 3005 cash flow. And then side pursuits or business revenue, I'm going to just put the nicknames of those that like I know what it means. So for stewardship and investing section, again, you would just rename this to what makes sense for you. So what I did is change it to what I actually call mine. So unemployed emergency fund, investment holding, fund, car fund, medical fund, 401k Roth. If there's not enough rows, you can insert a row and then just copy down the formula. So same thing here for the network tracking. And liability. So I just changed that with 3500 mortgage, HELOC, Discover credit card, Wells Fargo credit card. For assets, these are going to be the same accounts that you have under investing. That will be over here. And your retirement accounts as well. So if you wanted to, for example, you didn't have enough rows and you wanted to add another row, that would be highlighting within this section. So from column F and H underneath this header, and right click insert cells and shift down. So then here I would do the same depending on whatever the account is. This one is liquid cash and reserves. The amount is 0, and I'm going, and this is ministry fund. And insert shift down. So if you want to remove something from me, I don't pay property taxes and HOAs outside of my mortgage, so I would highlight that, and or you could just like replace it with another expense. Just replace the words here, but you can also just highlight that section, delete, shift cells up. So you'll want to read the instructions and it'll like explain in more detail. So the plan column is what you will like estimate or plan for the month that you will spend on each expense or how much money you're going to have coming in. And then you'll enter the actual amount in column C. It'll calculate the difference between your budgeted amount and your actual amount in column D for both their income and expenses and your tithes and savings. Like once you fill all of that in, you'll have your total income and expenses here. And then here you'll have your total savings and stewardship. And then it'll give you the net cash flow and it explains here what that is. So it's your income minus your expenses minus your savings. You may have like a zero-based budget where for you, your goal is to get this amount to 0 so that you are having a use for each dollar that you have coming in. For once you enter your net worth tracking, this is more of a monthly thing on a certain date. So you would gather the current value of what is your current cash balances, what is the current value of or estimate of it of your assets, what is the current balances owed on your liabilities, and once you have all of that, it'll add a total for each asset and liability, and then it'll calculate your assets minus your liabilities to tell you what your net worth is. And then here, I also like to just check on my credit score each month, and you can note what that is here. You can use Credit Karma or whatever you want to use to check that. Savings/stewardship rate, and it explains to you here. So this is a calculation. So you can see it's G9 divided by G7. So it's your total stewardship and savings divided by your total income. And the instructions also kind of explains more in detail what that is. So for example, this measures the exact percentage of income being routed toward building future wealth rather than current consumption. And then you have your emergency fund runway. So that's how many months that you can cover your fixed expenses before you run out of your emergency fund savings. And lifestyle burn rate, your fixed expenses divided by your income. And your freedom score, which is your passive income divided by your total fixed expenses. So that's more so relating to financial independence. Like, kind of how close are you to um, being able to retire and cover your expenses with just the passive income that you have. So for each month, you would want to create a duplicate of the monthly dashboard template. And so for August, you would just duplicate, and then you can name this August monthly dashboard template. For the bill payment tracker, you would just leave that the same. I would probably even put this at the front, or yeah, and just update this each month, or if you want, you can duplicate that too. You can rename, your file to whatever you want. I named mine Nurturing Net Worth Dashboard. This is just to show you how you would update it to fit your personal accounts and your personal bills, and how you can edit it without messing up the calculations. Thanks for spending time with me today. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's improving their personal finance journey. Stay focused, stay consistent, and keep nurturing your net worth.